Hi and welcome to Indigo Starfire. My name is Bevin, and in this video I'm going to be looking into the question, who's crushing on you, how do they view you, and will they make a move? There are three groups to choose from. Group 1 is the pre-night. Group 2 is the angelite. And group 3 is the selenite. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups, or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you'd like to jump ahead. And up next is a close-up photo of the crystals to help you better make your selection. Hi, Group 1. You chose the pre-night. So let's start by taking a look at who's crushing on you and how do they view you. Okay, so the first one we have is Blessed Yule Hope. So it feels like this could be something that is almost a connection frozen in time. So somebody from your past that maybe you've lost track of, or there could have been some kind of split between the two of you, a breakup, you've gone your separate ways. Maybe somebody you haven't seen or talked to in quite some time. It could be young love, early love, your first flame, or even somebody just time and space has sort of separated the two of you that may have looked you up recently. They've been keeping tabs on you or have sort of renewed or sparked an interest or curiosity in terms of what's going on with you. There's a sense that this person almost may have been on some kind of quest or voyage within themselves. They may have gone through some kind of rebirth, maturation, and growth if there's been a significant amount of time that has passed since you've seen one another or been in contact with one another. It's almost giving the vibes of sort of like a crush that may have never been acted upon even from the past, chemistry that was unactualized in the past. Maybe there were third-party situations involved previously. Or something where it was just kind of like right person, wrong time. And so circumstances may have changed in their life significantly enough to where now they are able to give to this or give to you in a way that they were unable to do before. So there's a little bit of kind of reconnaissance going on to see, are you available? Would you, be interested in them still? Kind of what's going on in your life? What changes have happened for you? Because for this person, a lot has changed and evolved. This may have been someone who needed to sort of find out maybe the hard way the grass wasn't greener on the other side. There could be some regret at not acting upon feelings in the past or doing what it would take to sort of overcome challenges and obstacles between the two of you. There's a sense of they see now or they understand now that potency and potential between the two of you in the past that was not acted upon would have been something or could have been something that could have yielded a very beneficial situation between the two of you. Someone who may have come to the realization that your interactions, your dealings with one another, what they knew of you at the time, or just kind of the way you made them feel inside, that is everything that they've been looking for, that they've been unable to find with anyone else in other romantic connections, maybe even somebody that's been single since you last saw them and they've been going within, kind of doing some shadow work, doing some healing within, and have kind of closed up some wounds that may have caused them to not act upon feelings in the past, or kind of get spooked and sort of run in the opposite direction if you had like a short-lived connection with one another. And there's almost a sense of they've been in preparation, they've been readying themselves to both give to you in a deeper way than they were capable of as a person before. And it feels like this is somebody who has also cleared up some things within their life, or they've had some kind of reckoning in their life to where what they were looking for, what they were valuing, what they were sort of pursuing before, they're seeing that that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, or it's not truly fulfilling what you had to offer, who you are as a person, the energy exchange between the two of you in the past. That is what they are desiring. That is what they're seeking. So this is almost somebody who's viewing you as the one that got away, although it feels that there may not have even been really much of a relationship or a very long relationship, a lot of unactualized potential, and so something where they've always kind of wondered what if, and maybe at this place of almost like the secret admirer watching from afar, kind of mapping out a course towards you. And we also have Anastasia, self-discovery. So they are seeing you as somebody who has really come into your own. You've discovered your purpose in life, or you've found your stride. You've evolved in a very pleasant way, energetically, emotionally, physically. There's almost a sense of seeing you now compared to seeing you then. The feelings that they had in the past have grown exponentially. If there was desire before, there's almost this ache, this yearning, this energy of like, I have to have this person. I have to make a move. I have to present myself. I can't let this opportunity sort of pass me by. They see you as somebody who is very comfortable in your skin, whereas in the past you might have been kind of shy, kind of insecure, uncertain, still sort of finding yourself. And the person that you've become, or that you've matured and evolved into, this is very pleasing to them. It aligns very deeply with, qualities physically that they are looking for, energetically, anything they're able to sort of glean or find out about you in terms of like social media. Maybe they've asked mutual acquaintances or friends. They've kind of heard things through the grapevine. It's almost like whatever you're doing in your life at this point in time, whatever your focus is on, whatever changes have happened in your life, this is very much in alignment with sort of their values, the life they've created for themselves. Or there's a sense that almost your paths or your lives would fit very seamlessly, where in the past there might have been a sense of people headed in sort of two opposite directions, ships passing in the night. And this is somebody who's circled back around to this realization of, you are the person that they essentially want by their side. And we also have the creatrix, creativity. So they are, again, seeing you as somebody who has manifested a very beautiful life for yourself. You've turned obstacles into opportunities, or you have actualized long-term goals and plans that maybe you had set in place, or they've been dreams and wishes from way back when, and you're either well underway to making those a reality, or you've made some of these things a reality. It feels like the type of life you've built for yourself, it's something that fits very well with who you are, but they never would have seen it coming. They wouldn't have expected that. You've almost reinvented or recreated yourself, or again, really come into your own, which it feels like is very appealing for this person. So maybe there's been, a long-term course of study, and you've graduated, and you're set in your career, or you've made some sort of life changes, career changes, lifestyle changes, anything like that. It feels that this version of you, what they're able to see, what they are observing, this is a much better fit. It more accurately reflects kind of the core of who you are, the essence of who you are. There's a sense of almost this person maybe feeling in the past that you were struggling or trying to sort of find your way or fit in, or were sort of misplaced in your life. You were misplacing your attentions, or you were selling yourself short in some sort of way. And there's an essence of you've embodied and embraced your personal power. You know who you are. You know what it is that you want. You've really stepped into a level of authenticity that it feels like they're seeing is bringing in a lot of abundance or opportunities for you, or you've created that for yourself, all based on this essence of kind of coming home to who you are, learning to love and accept yourself, or discover who you truly are inside, in order to be able to, in a more well-rounded way, kind of embrace who you are, and then build a life according to that. So it's something that this person finds very fascinating. There's a sense of almost pride in your accomplishments. They're very proud of you and the things that you've achieved, or the transformation that you've gone through, or that you're endeavoring currently. And there's almost a sense of kind of feeling that the two of you, if you were to join forces, would be like power couple energy. This might have been something that they could have even seen or sensed in the past, and they themselves themselves may have needed to go on some sort of quest to find their own personal empowerment, find their way in the world. They weren't ready for that level of kind of power being combined between two people, or a person who maybe in the past wasn't necessarily ready to settle down, or just had some triggers and wounds to work on, but it feels like they've leveled up in some way in their life, and now kind of resurfacing, sort of lurking in the shadows, and kind of keeping an eye on you at this point. There's almost a sense of you are that person that would fit so well with kind of the plan that they've been working towards in their own life, which you've developed, what you've grown for yourself, who you've grown into. It fits very seamlessly in a way that they are almost seeing and sensing that you would be the person that would be kind of their biggest critic, but their biggest cheerleader, kind of two people motivating themselves to continue to step into and evolve and continue to pursue sort of that ever-evolving best version of self. So this is something where there's a lot of kind of draw and desire to create some sort of a future with you, create a fresh start, or even launch a relationship for the first time if that was something that was never actualized before. And we also have the Jade Star, surrender. I am ready to let go with self-compassion. So they see that in some way you, again, have like learned to love yourself very profoundly. You've forgiven yourself maybe for past mistakes, or, you've let go of some kind of like self-consciousness, shame, even like a shyness about you. And you are who you are. You are expressing very authentically, very unapologetically, which this person finds to be very attractive, very sexy, very alluring, very inspiring. It's something that helps to sort of encourage them as well. Like whatever it is that you are exuding at this point, it feels that it mirrors something that they've been endeavoring within themselves in terms of self-acceptance. So you've encouraged this person, or maybe you yourself are even a form of a sign or confirmation for them, whatever path they have been called toward, whatever sort of work they've been doing in their own life, that maybe they've been going on about that in like a solo fashion, or they've needed to sort of learn some lessons, pick themselves up out of certain situations, and there's almost a sense of feeling that you might be that person that aligns with like this evolved version of them. You've each evolved in your own capacity, and it's almost the sense of maybe seeing you as like a counterpart, or like a true match, where they were unable to maybe recognize that before or accept that before, because there's almost a sense of needing to go separate ways. So this person may be focused on things like destiny or fate, or following their purpose or higher calling. And even if the lives you're living on the outside look very different, you're doing different things professionally speaking, your focus is on different things spiritually, there's almost a sense of seeing beyond the surface and recognizing kind of the more subtle energies, more the core energies between the two of you. And there's an essence of like, you could be that person that wouldn't just keep me in line, wouldn't just kind of keep me on track with what it is that I'm doing or endeavoring to do, but you would fit very seamlessly in that. Like we could both sort of accelerate one another in these individual pursuits, and then something jointly that they would even kind of want to create with you. And we also have the Huntress, quest, the Pleiades light, my quest to be wild and free. So there's a sense of seeing that you have kind of dropped a degree of shyness that you had before, being sort of closed off or insecure. There's a sense of confidence that radiates from you. There's a sense of you're very goal oriented, or you've reached some sort of goals, or you're aiming higher than what you had maybe thought was possible for yourself before. And this is something where it feels like this person is very excited to kind of watch the developments in your life, watch the things that you're going to be able to achieve and to produce and to create due to sort of this shift internally speaking. It's the idea of like, as within, so without. You've metamorphosized something within. You've closed out certain cycles within, or you've evolved and grown beyond a version of yourself that might have been a little unsure. And it's replaced with almost like certainty, or even kind of trust in the process process and a bigger plan for your life. And so this is almost the energy that this person feels they would trust you to lead. They would follow you anywhere. And they are also very inspired to sort of take, it feels like, decisive action in this situation. You inspire them to keep sort of reaching for those goals in their own life, or seeking to kind of continue to go through a process of personal development and growth that they may have endeavored very separately from you. And that's kind of signs and synchronicities may have sort of encouraged them to seek you out, to research, to sort of check back in and see what's going on in your life. And there's a sense of what they're seeing, what they're sensing, the vibe that you're giving off. This is something which it's almost like our paths are meant to cross, or we were meant to come back into one another's lives, or I was meant to sort of rediscover you at this particular point in time, because whatever you have going on, whoever you have become as a person, it ties in very deeply with sort of who they are, what it is that they are looking for, what they've cultivated within themselves as well. And we also have Equipius, the seer, visionary. I chart the stars, signs, and symbols to craft magic. So they're seeing you as somebody who follows your intuition. You have followed or answered some kind of higher calling. You're aligning with your purpose, or you've aligned with your purpose. You've achieved a lot of the things that you set out to achieve, and even things that are very remarkable to this person. That's helping them to sort of also have kind of a motivation to work toward more long-term goals for themselves, things that they may be well underway to achieving, but are still sort of, there's work that needs to be put in. And so there's almost a sense of feeling that you provide them with a lot of motivation and like team building, even if they haven't sort of spoken to you or haven't reached out. Just watching your example inspires them to, continue to sort of pursue thinking outside of the box and different sort of strategies toward whatever it is that they are hoping to achieve in their life. There's a sense too that, the time might not have been right between the two of you before, but it's almost like the stars have aligned. And again, that idea of like signs and synchronicities, confirmations, and what they're able to see about you, things that you post online, things that they've heard about you, or that they've asked about and kind of gotten responses from other people, doing research, things like that, that kind of are little almost clues or ciphers or indicators from their own spirit guides of points of confirmation for things that are relevant in their own journey, things that are kind of part of that dialogue between themselves and, whatever sort of the higher power is that it is that they're working with. There's almost a sense of a divinely kind of orchestrated or aligned situation. You each needed to go through your processes, a personal transformation and growth to sort of step into this version of yourselves. And it feels like somebody who's very happy that they've kind of found you in the position that they have found you in, and that they are in the position they are in their life, because there's a sense of almost, now we can get it right. Now is sort of the time for this story. So it feels like it's somebody who's very excited about the potential of sparking something between the two of you, acting upon feelings which it feels like never went away. They always sort of held that energy of what if inside, and so whatever it is that they're sort of seeing or they've discovered about you, it's definitely renewing sort of their hope or the idea of maybe it's not too late between the two of us. So let's take a look and see if they will make a move towards you. Okay, so we have the Three of Swords, the Eight of Cups, and the Ace of Wands. So there's a sense that this person may be working to kind of close up some cycles in their life, maybe wrap up some things with healing or, other kind of circumstances that they've been needing to evolve beyond. If they were in another connection, if they were in another relationship, they may have recently kind of broken up or gotten out of some sort of situation. They're in the process of kind of like mending their wounds, closing things out energetically or actually, because it feels like there is a desire to spark up conversation in with you, present themselves, not just lurk in the shadows forever, but there's almost this energy of not wanting to bring in baggage or complications. And so sort of maybe honoring the process of having to move through heartbreak or the ending of another connection, a third party situation maybe, that it feels like they've stepped away from. So this could be somebody who's in the process of going through a divorce, they've recently divorced, or they've ended a long-term connection, and it's almost a sense of doing themselves the honor and kind of the potential of what the future can hold for you, for the two of you, to sort of make sure that they've cleared up any sort of hangups that have happened due to that situation, the most previous situation that they were in. Maybe even a process of kind of just dating around, or being a player, and they're looking for something serious now at this point, that it's a sense of wanting to make sure that when they make a move towards you, that there are no strings attached with other sort of aspects in their life, that they've closed things out actually, they've closed things out emotionally, energetically speaking, kind of clearing the roster, clearing the board for themselves, and just making sure that they have the ability to kind of give you their full attention. That there's not an energy of trying to build something with you while simultaneously kind of going through the monotony or the process of sort of finalizing closure with another person. So it feels to be somebody that for the meantime, they will keep an eye on you. There's a magnetization, there's a draw in your direction. And it's almost like every day that they move through that process of closing out matters with another person, or even just emotionally speaking, kind of going through a process of healing, or a bit of purging and kind of just readying themselves to sort of open up to the idea of love again, or a connection again, that brings them a step closer to presenting themselves and speaking some sort of truth to you. So let's get a couple of message cards from their higher self and see what they would tell you right now if they could. Okay, and they say, I just want to go back in time. So yeah, this is somebody who wishes that they had made a move previously. If they didn't act upon chemistry and potential, or didn't sort of fight to overcome obstacles in the past, and you both went your separate ways, they moved on into another relationship. You might have moved on into other relationships. There's a sense of the happiness that they thought they would find with others was not found. That they're back in sort of a place of loneliness or regret, or being single again. And so this is almost somebody that wishes they had chosen you in the first place. Kind of a bit of remorse about sort of the nature of the life you could have built with one another. There's a sense that this person almost sees you as somebody that they would have wanted to have kids with, they would have wanted to build a family with. Maybe it's too late for that, actually, like biologically too late for that, or it's kind of getting close to that period of time where there's almost a sense of, if I would have had a do-over, I would have picked you. You would have been the person that I would have constructed a life with, or I would have followed my heart, trusted my intuition, and we wouldn't be needing to kind of make up for lost time, or I wouldn't be needing to kind of clear things out emotionally with other situations that didn't work out. And we also have, I miss you more than you know. So it feels like this is somebody that has thought about you across the time and the distance. They've never been able to kind of get over the energy of what if, what could have been, a sense of regret at kind of circumstances playing out the way that they did in both of your lives, which it feels like has motivated this person now that they've become disentangled from some other situation, or they're just in a part in their own kind of personal evolutionary journey to where they can kind of give and receive love in a higher capacity. There's a sense of almost like they missed out on something good with you. They didn't see the value and worth or the raw potential in this situation that you could have both worked with to sort of, heal and grow and evolve with one another. There's almost a sense that this person maybe thought, you needed to go your separate ways, and maybe you did, to become the versions of yourselves that you are now. But there's almost an energy of melancholy, wishing that they hadn't been so extreme in their views of kind of what was necessary in order for two people to kind of come into their own. There's a sense of wishing that you had been with them along their journey, or that they'd been with you along your journey. But it feels to be something that there is motivation to try again, to give this a chance, or to see if maybe you can make up for that lost time, or again, like the stars are aligned at this time where it might have been right person, wrong time before. We also have suddenly all the songs I hear are about you. So that's that confirmation of signs and synchronicities that they may be getting that have kind of pulled them back in your direction. It's given them these reminders, or even the sense of, that they're researching you, they're watching you from afar. They may be getting a lot of confirmations in sort of their reality that this is advantageous. Spirit kind of giving them that wink or that thumbs up. The more they sort of pursue or even just entertain the energies of what if inside of themselves, not from a place of kind of longing, but at least taking action steps to sort of move into proximity with you in some sort of way. They're getting a lot of positive reinforcement that, like, this is in the highest interest, this is in their best interest, this is kind of aligned with some sort of door of opportunity to open towards a higher love between the two of you. And we also have our eye contact is insane. So there is a desire to have a face-to-face conversation with you. They do not want to lurk in the shadows forever. And it feels like, again, they're kind of in the process of maybe wrapping some things up, even just emotionally, kind of giving themselves a cool-off period if they've gotten a divorce or they've moved out of a relationship. And that might be even all said and done, but there's almost a sense of not wanting to just immediately kind of bounce into your life, kind of from one situation to another. There's a sense of they need to heal. They need to sort of gather their energy, gather their emotional resources, even to be able to present something to you that is stable, where they can fully focus on you and the possibility of a fresh start, or even like a beginning between the two of you, if this was something that never chemistry that sort of never turned into anything before. So I'm going to get some initials, and this can be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got X, Y, S, N, G, E, Z, N, F, G, M, V, Q, and D. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. It shows the Angelite. So let's start by taking a look at who's crushing on you and how do they view you. So we have Witching Hour T, introspection. So it feels like this is somebody who sort of sees you in your daily reality. So this can be somebody who's like a coworker, a classmate, somebody in your friend circle, a neighbor, somebody that may go to like the same gym as you go to. They go to the same stores or coffee shops that you go to. Somebody that it feels like you may have pleasant exchanges with, but they're very surface level. So somebody that you don't know very well. It's never been like a romantic connection between the two of you. Somebody that you might even just kind of, you would never guess that they have like a crush on you. Maybe somebody who's kind of very stoic, maybe even gets very sort of quiet or closed off or shy when you're around. You may catch them kind of staring at you from afar, almost like eye contact, and then they look away. But it feels to be something that it's not anyone that you've necessarily dated, or that you would even presumably kind of consider that would be a viable candidate for romance, but they've caught feelings, they develop some sort of crush. It may even be somebody that's like a friend of a friend, or could even be the ex kind of romantic partner of a person that you knew, maybe casually, or a friend's kind of ex that has developed feelings for you, and they're kind of watching with a sense of longing, with a sense of yearning. It feels like somebody who, kind of listens very intently to the words that you speak, but maybe has very little to say in return as well. They kind of just absorb your energy, but it's not like you've had any sort of deep heart-to-heart conversations with one another. You might not know them very well, or you would only kind of know them just by surface details, kind of like first name basis, or a familiar face kind of in the crowd. It could also be somebody who, has sort of watched you on social media. If you post things on social media, they could, like the posts, follow your social media, any kind of content that you put out there. They're observing that, they're viewing that. They're kind of an audience member in your life, very captivated by you. They're seeing you as somebody who speaks the truth, as maybe a very direct person, or you very directly kind of affected them in an emotional way. It could be a very logical person where they're almost trying to process the nature of, why do I feel so compelled to this person? Why do I feel so drawn to this person, and yet tongue-tied at the idea of sparking up that conversation. They could be a bit intimidated by you, and kind of the level of confidence you exude, the vibe that you give off, or just sort of the positioning of kind of how they are able to sort of take you in, or perceive you compared to sort of their proximity. So this could even be something where, if it's like a work situation, you're kind of a superior at work, you're a manager and they're an employee. And so it's kind of like, how do I broach that sort of line between the two of us? Or something, if this is a person who's kind of taking you in on social media, there's almost a sense of, how do I get this individual's attention without being just sort of, dismissed as a random person in the DMs, or, how do I kind of contact this information, or this person? How do I get their information? How do I sort of set myself apart from the crowd, or like, what do I say that kind of would make me sort of significant, or would be interesting, or relevant? They see you as somebody who's very intelligent, maybe even somebody who's very intuitive. You just sort of seem to perceive things. You are able to kind of read the mood of the room, or you're able to kind of really elevate or lift the energy of the room, or circumstances that you're in. There's almost a sense of people are better after spending time in your presence than they were before you kind of came around. So it's maybe somebody who themselves is very sensitive or intuitive. They've kind of observed you just being yourself. They've observed you kind of, working your magic, working a room, utilizing sort of the fullness of who you are, actualizing that potential. And it's something that there's almost a sense of them feeling kind of a kindred spirit bond between the two of you, or something that's just very intriguing, kind of the effect that you have on other people, to help to uplift people, maybe advice or wisdom or guidance that you give to other people. You're helpful, you're cheerful, you know what you're talking about, you know how to kind of speak to people at a soul level. And this feels to be something that is very interesting for this person, and it's also kind of resonating with with the sense of this maybe somebody who's never had a romantic partner that had those qualities before. So you feel to be someone that's outside of the box, in kind of a subtle way from anyone that has ever expressed interest in them, or that they've been in a romantic relationship with. So there's kind of some uncertainty here of like, how do I approach you? What would this even look like to have romance with somebody like you? We also have Time of the Black Jaguar, Destruction. So they see you as somebody who maybe they've witnessed some kind of death and rebirth process. They've watched you reinvent yourself. They've watched you grow. They've watched you mature. They've watched you really come into your own. Somebody who is not afraid to kind of move beyond energies that bring forth, kind of chaos or disruptions of peace. Something where you're kind of always focused on growing, always focused on evolving, always focused on sort of learning the lesson and becoming better rather than embittered. And this feels to be something that, again, is very fascinating to this individual. They find that very attractive. There's almost a sense of they feel that you'd be the kind of person they'd want by their side through the storms of life, that, your words of wisdom, your words of encouragement, your courage and your sense of empowerment, kind of moving through the uncertainties of the energies of change in general, feel to be something that is very intriguing to this person. There's almost a sense of, no matter kind of what you've been through, if they've been sort of an observer in your life, or they've come to know certain things about you, it's almost like you come out better on the other side of things that, would sort of break other people or would dishearten other people. You find a way to sort of recreate yourself, or you've become even more radiant through your challenges. And despite them, and so this is something that it feels like they find to be very interesting, very captivating. They're very drawn to this. And we have Beset and Sekhmet, Ferocious Femininity. So they see that you are somebody who embodies both your softness and your strength in a very unique way. You are well acquainted with your light and with your shadow, and you are able to move seamlessly between those two polarities within yourself. And it feels to be something that ties into the idea as well that when you give words of encouragement or guidance or wisdom, or just something about your energy which really uplifts other people, it doesn't come from a place of like spiritual bypassing or toxic positivity. There's almost a sense of your optimism, your enthusiasm. It's apparent that it has been cultivated through traversing your own shadow, through traversing your darkness, becoming that light in the dark. That you're somebody who is sensible and practical, and yet at the same point in time, focused on kind of a glass is half full mentality, as opposed to sort of, a woe is me attitude, which it feels like is, again, kind of draws this person in very deeply to you, to observe, to align. They may in many ways kind of almost feel like you're the yin to their yang, maybe sort of things that you've been through, things that they've been through, align very deeply, to where there's a sense of almost, if this is somebody that was used to maybe like trauma bonds with other individuals, there's almost a sense of you've created some degree of like personal healing or empowerment that may be similar to kind of what they're endeavoring or what they've been able to achieve, that it's a sense of almost like if we had a romance with one another, we could relate to one another's sort of like traumatic experiences in the past, but it's not something that we would lead with wounds. We would lead with the energy of healing, and a sense of almost feeling that they could be more deeply understood perhaps as a person or by what they've been through you, or like by you or with you, that they have with other people that they've been involved with romantically or even in their life in general. Some of this may even relate to an intuitive person who just sort of senses that they sense that your energy, your confidence, you weren't just born with this, you sort of forged yourself, or spirit sort of forged you, life sort of forged you into this current manifestation of who you are. You were built through your challenges and struggles. It was not just sort of a radiance that was handed to you. The cost of that, or what you needed to do to sort of invest in kind of pulling yourself up from out of the ashes was very steep, and so that's something that it feels like is very encouraging. It's inspiring. It brings forth a sense of empowerment and authenticity that you radiate. This is not, there's nothing like cliche that they see about you. You're the real deal in a lot of ways. you exude and radiate what it feels like they would want in the ideal partner. And so this again is something where they're just kind of intuitively drawn to at the soul level. Something almost like it's fated that we've crossed paths with one another at this time in our lives. And we also have Athuja, sun goddess, lift off. I open my senses to feel delicious pleasure and passion. So this is somebody who almost has some kind of a very palpable reaction, almost like kundalini energy that sort of raises within them. It goes beyond just sort of a sexual attraction. There's something very energetic that kind of sparks within them, or like blazes within them. It draws them towards you. This is somebody who's very attracted to you, mind, body, and soul. Your energy just sort of pulls them in. There's a sense of this person may even feel sort of like tingly, or they're getting hot flashes, when you make eye contact with one another, when they're in your presence. So maybe somebody who can even kind of sense your presence before you sort of arrive on the scene, before you, come into the situation, come into the room. And it's something that really just, it almost brings forth a feeling of being more alive within themselves than they ever have with anybody else. So this is somebody that it feels like is very fascinated by you, this effect that you have on them just by being yourself, without flirting, without kind of trying to draw attention from them, or even something where they see that you draw a lot of attention, you draw people to you like moths to a flame without even trying. There's a humbleness about you, almost kind of like you don't even know how radiant you are, you don't even know how beautiful you are, you don't even know the effect that you have on people and that you have on this person, which it feels like makes you very attractive. You're somebody that you have this personal power, but you don't use that as something to manipulate other people. There's a genuineness about you, which again is very, very compelling for this person. We also have the ruby star, flow. I embody my authentic and sensual essence. Yeah, so this is somebody who, again, sees you as a very sexy person, a very attractive person. You present at least as very kind of comfortable in who you are, a very grounded person, very down-to-earth person, somebody who presents as very kind of like stable, or it would yield almost the idea of like stability within a connection. So maybe somebody who's used to kind of passionate connections by way of volatility, and there's almost a sense of envisioning or fantasizing or feeling within themselves that to have a connection with you, there would almost be this idea of like passion, but where you kind of anchor one another. You're existing in kind of those higher realms and in the 3D sense. So maybe it's sort of whatever you have going on in your life, it kind of correlates very much with sort of, qualities that this person may sort of desire, or they're working toward, or they need in their life, in order to kind of keep them focused, keep them on track, kind of that partner for whatever it is that they're working toward. There's almost a sense of like strength in numbers with this energy here. Where to align with you, or to open the door toward pursuing some sort of romance, and kind of acting on feelings that have surfaced within them. There's almost a sense of that you'd be somebody who's healthy for them, you'd be somebody that's good for them. Again, kind of a departure from maybe trauma bonds they've experienced in the past, and it's a sense of you are somebody that they could actually see themselves having like a healthy relationship with, one that is exciting, one that is safe, one that kind of adds to sort of the measure of both people's existence, rather than sort of taking away or diminishing. And we also have Equipius, the seer, visionary. I chart the stars, signs, and symbols to craft magic. So they see you as somebody who is very multi-talented. You utilize all of your kind of attributes and gifts in a very beautiful way. There are many facets about you that are hidden, that are obvious, that just kind of have this person's attention. You have captivated them. They're almost sort of like studying you, and it feels like it borders on obsession in ways. Like they're just fascinated by you. They may try to like sneak a peek at you, or if they're watching you on social media, there's almost kind of like they have to restrain themselves from sort of looking you up, or looking at your profile. But when they do see things that you posted, that you put out, or even like face to face, they're dealing with you in some capacity. There's almost a sense of being very mesmerized, very awestruck by who you are. Some sort of like star power that you exude, or you present as this very kind of etheric or like a heavenly being, a divine being in the flesh in some sort of way. So it feels like this is somebody who is definitely, you've got their full attention, and there's almost a sense of, I've never encountered someone like you, I've never seen someone like you, I've never experienced an energy quite like you. So let's take a look and see if they will make a move. Okay, so we have the Nine of Wands, Four of Swords, and the Knight of Cups. So it feels like this person is working up the courage to present some kind of offer, to introduce themselves, strike up a conversation between the two of you. They're kind of rehearsing, they're seeing what it is that they want to say, what's the right approach, what's something that can really set them apart from the crowd, something where they don't just want to sit in this energy of being awestruck and kind of let an opportunity pass them by. There's a sense of like, I want to get to know you better, I want to move in closer, I want to have more intimate connection between the two of us, or conversation that goes beyond pleasantries, or maybe even having conversation for the first time, if it's just sort of, you acknowledge one another from afar but you've never spoken. So it feels like this is definitely somebody who's gearing up to make a love offer. They're not wanting to present themselves as a friend, or, make some kind of excuse just to talk to you, but it's almost somebody that's getting ready to put themselves out there romantically, overcoming those sort of fears that, you'll just brush them off. It feels like they're coming up with multiple sort of contingency plans. If the first attempt doesn't sort of get your attention, or, maybe kind of the energy that they're seeing you in is you're a high value person, you know your worth, you're not just going to take sort of the first knock on the door that comes. There's going to have to be some effort that's put in. There's almost a sense of this person sort of mapping out a strategy for what that's going to look like in multiple sort of ways, how to build that trust, how to present themselves in a way that's not kind of overwhelming or overt in terms of the nature of what they're sort of feeling inside, but kind of letting things take place organically. It feels like between the two of you, but definitely making it unquestionably known that they are approaching with sort of romance on the brain. They're not just wanting to sort of get in closer and waste your time, or manipulate in any sort of way. But it's the sense of, how to sort of say this, how to phrase this, how to approach this, where they come out of a space of being just sort of a background character in your life, or, somebody who's kind of just a face in the crowd, and presenting themselves as something more direct to you. So let's get some message cards from their higher self and see what they would tell you right now if they could. Okay, and we have the changes are real. Yeah, so this is somebody who is gearing up to do something bold, to do something daring, maybe kind of working up that courage, or making space within themselves, within their life, emotionally speaking, for sort of the idea of, if you say yes, if you want to get to know them, if you want to, take things to the next level, what's that going to look like? What's it going to be like to, start to open up emotionally, start to become vulnerable? So maybe somebody who, doesn't kind of date around. They may have been single for a while. So there could also be kind of preparing themselves for the idea of, if you say yes to them, building a partnership with one another, dating. If they haven't done that in a while, it's kind of like, okay, what do I do? What are the skills? What do I need to say? What is that going to look like? Maybe getting advice from friends or family as far as like how to approach you, how to break the ice between the two of you, to present themselves as somebody that you would take very seriously, and to also kind of, again, have like multiple contingency plans. If sort of the first effort or attempt towards you doesn't work, to approach it with from another angle without coming across as like obsessive or creepy, but just sort of determined, to make it clear that there is an interest in sort of pursuing something here, so that you don't confuse their intentions, and can kind of see them for more of who they are or what they have to offer. We also have, I want your attention. Yeah, so this is somebody who doesn't just want to remain a spectator in your life. They want to take action towards you. They may almost at this point in time, if it's somebody that you deal with or you encounter face to face, they may kind of go out of their way, or they're hoping that you sort of catch them staring at you. If you're following each other on social media, they may post things to try and get your attention. Little sort of clues or indicators that like, hey, I'm watching, hey, I'm interested, hey, I'm preparing myself to, come forth and speak to you very directly. It feels like somebody who doesn't just want to play mind games or kind of beat around the bush the whole time. They're wanting to do something. They're wanting to progress in this situation, to try and explore, is the romantic potential between the two of you. And we also have, you are hard to forget. So yeah, they're thinking about you, fantasizing about you, dreaming of what it could be like, to date you, to get to know you, to kind of earn a place in more of sort of the inner circle of your world, of your reality. It feels that there could be, a lot happening in the dream space and sort of signs and synchronicities, maybe a person who's asking for confirmations from spirit, signs and synchronicities to sort of confirm their desire to move towards you, or as they're sort of mapping out a strategy to present themselves, again, kind of running that by friends and family, or even sort of like their spirit team, as far as like, is this the right approach? Is this the right methodology? There's a sense of almost, they need to come in clear, they need to come in correct, because they're sensing someone like you. They're feeling maybe you have a lot of options, so they need to sort of stand out from the crowd, or that you're not willing to tolerate sort of wishy-washiness or indecisiveness. So they're moving with a pace of like, I need to be certain, I need to present something that's very unforgettable to this individual, so that they take me seriously, and it kind of puts me apart from any competition. We also have, I'm overcoming my fears. Yeah, so this is somebody who's gearing up to speak, gearing up to say something, to break the ice, to present themselves. There's a fear of rejection or being a bit intimidated, even by the idea of like, what if you say yes, and what that leads to. That it feels like is very beautiful in their eyes, sort of what the connection could lead to, but it's almost a sense of not wanting to sort of come across as they're stumbling, or they're stuttering about things, or presenting in sort of a passive energy, or like a weak energy. They're wanting to present themselves as very strong, very confident, very self-assured, without coming forth with like an overinflated ego. So it's somebody, it feels like, who's balancing their energies at this point in time, and kind of fine-tuning sort of that script, that choreography of what that's going to look like when they make that communication, when they make that contact with you. So I'm going to get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got S, Z, Y, H, S, D, E, N, F, R, A, U, and O. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. We chose the selenite. So let's start by taking a look at who's crushing on you and how are they viewing you. Okay, so the first one we have is Hecate, Queen of the Crossroads, the unknown. So this is definitely secret admirer energy, somebody who it feels like has had their eye on you for quite some time, or somebody that you might have thought had kind of moved on from the idea of you or wasn't attracted to you, maybe even like a past connection, someone you dated briefly or you were in a relationship with, and you're just assuming it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, who has sort of come back around. They're resurfacing again in your narrative. They're wanting to give this another chance. They're wanting to give it another shot. They're wanting to see if maybe you could work through your differences with one another, or if there's the ability to forgive and be forgiven in this situation. If it's somebody that you've never been in a relationship with before, then this is also kind of or somebody like you're unaware of, just total secret admirer energy. This is somebody who is almost very captivated by you. You've come upon into their awareness in some sort of way, just by accident, just by happenstance. It almost feels to be something where they may be watching you on social media, like an algorithm has sort of recommended them to you, and they're very compelled, sort of like, who is this person? This is the vibe that they give off, and I'm very attracted to it. Or almost the essence of kind of they find you yourself very attractive as a person. This might also be kind of like a past life connection that you share with this individual. So there's a sense of like familiarity. I know you from somewhere. You seem so familiar. You give off a vibe of like home, or a sense of feeling very kind of drawn towards you in a certain way. There may be things that you sort of do, peculiarities, quirks, mannerisms that could be very aligned with what this person does. A sense of almost like destiny having brought the two of you together, or brought you back into one another's awareness. This is almost somebody who may have needed, if this was like a previous relationship as well, where if it was a previous relationship, because it's kind of given this crossover of like secret admirer energy, someone you've never met, it almost feels like you almost wouldn't recognize this person if they pop back into your world and into your reality. They are in many ways not the same person that they were before. They've grown, they've evolved, they've changed, they've metamorphosized. There may be changes within them to where their whole style, their whole attitude, everything that their life is about, it's completely different from whatever they were focused on before. Somebody who themselves might have gone through some kind of major glow up, or they are seeing and sensing you have gone through some sort of major glow up. You are not the same person that they recall, that they remember. It may even be where that idea of like an algorithm recommending, this person, if it was like a past person, they could have not been actively sort of seeking you. They could have not, been doing that research and kind of, oh, I wonder whatever happened to this person. Yet you've come into their awareness in some sort of way. They've been presented with the knowledge of you, and it feels to be something that has kind of sparked or renewed this sort of interest within them. They're seeing you in kind of a way that they weren't able to before, because you're not the same version of yourself that you were previously, and they are not the same version of themselves that they were previously as well. So there's almost a sense of like, should I reach out and say something? Is this something that's best just kind of left in the past? A lot of almost kind of back and forth within this person, fighting their fears, feeling a very strong and overpowering urge to reconnect. Again, a sense of like destiny sort of aligning the two of you. They may have discarded your contact information, lost your contact information. They may not have known how to find you, how to reach out to you, what was going on in your life and in your reality. And it's like all of a sudden, here you are, here you've been presented to them without effort on their part, kind of needing to be exerted to sort of seek and find you, to where it feels there may have been even sort of like serendipity is how they've been brought back into or you've been brought back into their world or into their awareness. Or if it's like true secret admirer, you've never met this person. It almost feels that it's a very kind of fated experience, something that may align with kind of what you've presented, what you've shown, what you've demonstrated that might have been sort of a point of reference that they were relating to wherever they were at in their journey, or something that they were struggling with, they were dealing with, and you in some way have maybe presented information about that. You posted things about that. It could be like a hobby or an interest that aligns very deeply with something inside of them that they sort of discovered that they're pursuing. It's a sense of almost, it's no accident that the two of you, or they've come to this awareness of sort of like you, that the two of you are aligned in some sort of way. And it's kind of an energy of like, how do I bridge the gap between the two of us? How do I reach out? How do I sort of get in there and make that contact? And we also have a moonlit dance, feminine energy. So they see you as radiating divine feminine energy, whether you're a male or a female. You're very in tune with yourself. You're a very receptive and perceptive person. You may garner a lot of attention from people. So you may have a large following if you have a social media presence, or there's a sense of almost that you attract very high vibrational people to you, that are a mirror for sort of like who and what you are inside. There's a sense here of almost like attracts like. So you embody and exude many, if not all, of the qualities that this person has been looking for in a mate or in a partner. And it's a sense of almost like if we'd encountered one another at any point sooner in our journey, I wouldn't have taken notice of you. I wouldn't have been the version of myself that would feel I had something to offer. And so almost a sense of kind of like gratitude in some sort of way that they may be feeling towards the divine, towards where they're at in their journey, that sort of, here's this person that has kind of sparked something within. It's almost like this soul knowing, like their soul is leaping towards you. Get to know this person, find out who this is, discover a way in. It feels to be as kind of the nature of the internal monologue within this person that has them very kind of fixated, very fascinated at you, or fascinated with you. Somebody who may almost just be very captivated. They've never seen anyone like you. They've never kind of witnessed sort of this embodiment of perfection. So they may be putting you on kind of a pedestal a little bit, but something about you, something about kind of just your energy or whatever it is that you present, your vibe in general, it's very enticing for this person. It's very delicious for this person. They can't get enough of you. This is somebody who it feels like is you're a guilty pleasure almost in a way, but one in which they are indulging in kind of, viewing you, viewing your social media, kind of just absorbing, taking everything in. They're doing so without guilt and shame. It's almost a sense of like, yes, this feels right. This person feels right. This feels so intriguing, and I want more. If this is somebody, that you'd parted ways with, you'd kind of lost contact with, or it was like an expired connection with a person, and you've sort of moved off in another direction, you never thought you'd hear from them again, or that they'd resurface again. It's kind of that essence and energy of, how could I not have seen and appreciated this aspect of you? Where was this side of you before when we were in connection with one another? Because this is exactly what I was looking for. So it feels like somebody who, now that you've kind of caught their attention, now that they have their eye on you, they are very fixated. They're very determined to sort of pursue or to watch or to just kind of take you in there. They're very captivated. They're very mesmerized by you. You have this person very entranced in just the natural essence that you exude, the aura, this version of you that is kind of here now being presented to them. And we also have Persephone, maturity. So they see you as somebody who is kind of a master of moving amongst sort of your light and shadow energies within self. You are not somebody who sort of shies away from, digging in deep and kind of going through those necessary periodic experiences of sort of the death and rebirth process. So if it's someone from the past, they're seeing that like this version of you is so different from the version of you that they were encountering before. And that this is the version that kind of aligns with whoever it is that they have developed into as well. seeing you as like the yin to their yang, somebody who fits in very well with like the idealized partner, the idealized mate, something where if they know of like struggles you've been through, you've come out even more radiant. This is almost somebody that like if you were beautiful before, you're simply breathtaking at this particular point in time as a person, as an energy, the life that you've created for yourself. There's a sense of almost feeling that they would have to kind of earn or prove themselves, or it might even kind of inspire them to go in and sort of do work within, in order to make improvements in themselves, to be able to sort of offer you something that's an equitable match for you. There's a sense that you embody this kind of strength within, where they're seeing you as somebody with discernment, with boundaries. You don't just share your energy and time with anybody. You know your value, you know your worth, and they find that to be very attractive. It's very motivating. It feels that it's activated some kind of hunter mechanism within them, where they have to kind of pace through this. They need to sort of find a way to kind of track down all the fears, all the wounds within themselves that in some way would cause them to potentially hold back from you, because there's a sense of wanting to approach and kind of give you the world, give you their heart, give you everything they weren't capable of giving before, emotionally or actually, or even that they've never given to another person. This is almost something where just the idea of you, or the experience of you, watching you even, it sort of activates something within this person, kind of like, this is the individual I've been looking for my whole life. This kind of unlocks the door to all types of untapped potential, romantically and emotionally speaking, that I never felt comfortable, I never felt compelled to give to another person. I didn't even know I was capable of feeling a depth of emotion quite like I feel for this individual, for you, the viewer of this video. And so this is somebody, it feels like, who you've awakened something within this person without even knowing it, without even knowing that this person has kind of caught sight of you, or maybe you've gotten some indicators that there's like secret admirer, there's somebody lurking there. There's like eyes on you, and it feels like it's this person, or maybe even sort of like multiple people. They may also see and sense that there's competition, there's like other people. Certainly there should be other people that have their eyes on you, or they're aware of that. They've kind of been checking things out energetically or actually, and they've sort of pinpointed, okay, there's some competition in this situation, which it feels like has motivated them to really try to go in within and sort of find a way to gather that strength, to sort of bring forth kind of more than they have provided and presented in the past to you or to other situations, to try and really set themselves apart from other people, because they're seeing that you deserve more than just sort of a mediocre love. You deserve more than a lukewarm romance or somebody that's uncertain. They're seeing you as somebody who doesn't tolerate situationships. You're not going to allow back and forth. You're not going to let somebody breadcrumb you, that you will quickly kind of cut people off if they are in any way sort of wasting your time, wasting your energy. If they're presenting any degree of uncertainty, there's almost a sense that you're someone who will provide that certainty by cutting the situation off. If a person can't decide, you have no problem sort of closing the door and moving forward with your life. And so this is something that they find very appealing, very attractive. It almost kind of makes this person sort of see and sense that they need to give more than they've even thought they were capable of giving to a situation. So somebody who really wants to like earn time spent in your presence. They want to earn your respect or earn your trust. They're seeing that that's not easily given to people, which it feels like is also something that they find very appealing. You're not just accessible to everybody. You know your worth, you know your value. And we also have the Jade Star, surrender. I'm ready to let go with self-compassion. So they see you as somebody who is a very compassionate individual, a very tender individual. You have a strength, but there's also a softness about you. This is somebody, it feels like, who is very motivated to bring forth that softness. There's an urge to sort of protect. There's an urge to bring you very organically into sort of your softer, receptive, feminine energy. You're embodying like an empowered feminine energy, but there's a sense of this person wanting to make you feel very safe in their presence, or very safe to kind of open up emotionally in a way that you might not have done in other relationships, or If this is someone from your past that you weren't able to do with them before because they weren't able to kind of bring you to that place based on kind of what they were putting forth or even where they were at in their own life or their own journey, they weren't able to kind of bring you out of more of a masculine energy, something where you were maybe leading, you were taking charge, you were overgiving to the connection. They weren't able to bring you into that space where you were comfortable to receive because they themselves were holding back, or they were sitting in their feminine energy. And there's a sense of almost wanting to reverse the roles where people are in sort of their proper alignment. They're in their proper place. They're wanting to give to you, and they're wanting you to sort of receive a level of love and care that you haven't before. And we also have the inner temple, life lessons I go within my shadow for deep spiritual growth. So they're definitely seeing you as like embodying a divine feminine energy. You're radiating your power. You know who you are. You've cultivated a version of yourself through your willingness to face your own reflection, to do some deep dives, to do some healing, understand your wounds and patterns, and kind of work with those or break free from them in certain ways. So kind of like if this is someone that knew you from your past, this current version of you is much more balanced. It's much more authentic. It's much more empowered than who you were before. Any challenges that you were dealing with, they are amazed and surprised at how much you've overcome them, or the version of you that's kind of come out the other side of maybe dark night of the soul, some chaos, tower moments that you were going through. There's almost a sense of they didn't expect a version of you like this to sort of rise from the ashes, and now that they've kind of caught sight of that, it's very motivating for them to go within and sort of do some work to be able to kind of match that frequency, match that vibration. If this is somebody that you've not had dealings with before, again, there's almost the sense of you've been through some struggles, you've been through some challenges, you've like cultivated a version of yourself that doesn't just happen overnight, and that might be something that is very attractive, very appealing to this person. Almost somebody who feels that it might be like an honor or a privilege to be considered romantically by you, or to have a place in your life, have a place by your side romantically speaking. So it's definitely motivating them, it feels like, to sort of look at themselves and say, what do I need to sort of tighten up within me? What do I need to close up as far as, outdated chapters or cycles? What version of myself do I need to shed in order to prepare myself to present what I have to give emotionally speaking, with the intention of this could turn into like long-term romance? Feels that they're looking at like long-term with you rather than sort of anything kind of casual or a fling. They're seeing that you are relationship material, your marriage material, and they are wanting that with you. And we also have Alethesa, Sun Goddess, lift off. I open my senses to feel delicious pleasure and passion. Yeah, so they're finding you very sexy, very radiant, very confident, very alluring. They are drawn to you like a moth to a flame. You have awakened some initiative within this person to start to make those preparations to reshape anything they need to in their life, or to continue forth along that process of personal growth and acceleration, because they're not wanting to miss a chance with you. There's a sense of you've ignited something within, you've awakened something within. You've activated this person, given them some kind of purpose to seek to kind of become a viable candidate romantically speaking, or a bridge that might have been burned between the two of you in the past. If this is somebody that you dealt with romantically, this is somebody who's very motivated to kind of like build a new bridge between the two of you, invest in this connection, or the idea of a renewal or a reconciliation in a way that they hadn't been motivated to do before. They'd sort of discounted you in this situation. They just sort of written it off. It was too bad that it didn't happen. It didn't work out. Maybe next lifetime. And there's a sense of now they've caught sight of you, and there's this renewed motivation of, I don't want to wait for another lifetime. I want to see what can kind of happen in the here and now. So let's take a look and see if they will make a move towards you. Okay, we have the Four of Swords, the Hanged Man, and the Magician. Yeah, so this is somebody who is actively manifesting either the courage to speak to you, trying to sort of get things in order in their life to be able to present some sort of solid offer or an opportunity, maybe for reconciliation. If it's somebody that you've never dealt with before, then, to kind of offer you the potential of long term if you feel there's mutual chemistry between the two of you and you get to know one another and it progresses in that direction. This is almost somebody who's seeking to kind of free themselves from any sort of limit in terms of what could happen in this situation. They're wanting to present themselves with like a limitlessness, where they're not closed off. They're not kind of afraid to sort of trust in the flow and development of the situation. Somebody who it feels like in the meantime will continue to sort of watch from afar, learn you, study you, perfect some sort of strategy to kind of set themselves apart from the crowd, or kind of present in a way that is more appealing than any competition or potential competition. Something that if it's a person from the past resurfacing where you'll take them seriously, there may be a sense of almost like you've evolved, you've come into your own, you've taken your power back from them, from the situation, in your life at this point in general, to where they can't just present something that's kind of flimsy. They can't present empty promises and not have the ability to follow through with something tangible and kind of long term. So there's a sense of them trying to kind of prepare themselves for that, work up that courage, to apologize, to open those lines of communication again. So maybe mutual apologies can be expressed if those are owed, to sort of work through any grievances or differences that you've had in the past, to be able to sort of clear the air between the two of you so that there's the ability to then start fresh, kind of armed with the wisdom of what went wrong in the situation before, and kind of approach it from a different angle. So it feels like they will make contact, they will make some kind of move towards you, but it's something that they're trying to sort of map that out from a very well-rounded approach at this time, not just sort of leading on impulse or allowing that kind of wow factor to sort of draw them in, but there's almost a sense of wanting to apply logic, listen to their heart, practically speaking, what can they offer, and also surrendering to the nature of this pull, this effect that you have had upon them. So they'll continue, it feels like, to sort of watch and wait, and slowly make their way towards you. So let's get some messages from their higher self and see what they would tell you right now if they could. Okay, we have, I'm overthinking everything. Yeah, so they're definitely in their head at this point in time about like, how do I approach this person? What do I say? What are these conversations between us going to look like? There's a lot of importance that they're putting on not wanting to waste your time, but to present themselves as like serious, I'm hearing marriage material. So somebody that may have, again, like long range plans with you, not wanting to just have sort of a quick or a fleeting connection, but something where you start to build something stable and reliable from the ground up. And we also have, I don't care what people think anymore. So this is somebody who is just trying to step into their authenticity and in their confidence in all ways in their life, so that they present in a very genuine energy to you, so that it's not a false bravado, it's not a false confidence, so that they're able to kind of present you with a version that what you see is what you get in a very empowered way. If there had been differences between the two of you, so this was someone maybe you were in a relationship with or you'd been dealing with before in the past and things didn't end so well, there were complications in the situation, or it was kind of like a bad breakup, or just a situation where there was a lot of hurt between two people, this might have been somebody who was kind of fearful of coming back in your direction out of what other people would think of them, or think about the situation. Maybe this is something where people didn't approve of it large in part in the past, and they'd kind of discarded it based on that. And this is an energy of kind of moving beyond all of that, making a choice for themselves, following their heart versus sort of the opinions of what other people would have. So even the idea of if they reconnected with you, what would people in their life think after everything that's happened between the two of you? you in the past. They're working up the courage to sort of discount those people's opinions and really just sort of follow the compulsion of their soul of like, I am drawn to this person. I want this person. I want us to work. I want us to start over. I want us to begin again. And we also have, you are the only one who truly gets me. So they are again seeing you as some kind of match, some kind of heaven sent blessing. You are somebody that's awakened something deep within their heart space, or feelings that they thought had sort of faded away for you have sparked up kind of hotter than ever, if it's somebody from your past. And so if they didn't appreciate you before, they are seeing you in a whole new light and appreciating both what they had or the potential of what they could have had with you in the past, but deeply appreciating sort of who you've grown into, who you've matured into, who you've developed into. And we also have, I'm working on myself. Yeah, so this is somebody who's tying up loose ends in their life, building that confidence, coming beyond any sort of like fears of rejection or fears of maybe past patterns between you or that they've experienced in other romantic connections, repeating themselves in this situation. There's almost a sense of feeling that there's one opportunity to get this right and they don't want to let that opportunity pass them by. And we also have, I regret how I handled things before. So if this is a reconciliation, it feels like this person is preparing themselves to be very open, to be very honest, to not only kind of admit fault on their end, but to be receptive to any apologies that are necessary on your part, working on some kind of triggers, working on some sort of fears within themselves, because they're not just wanting to kind of have another false start with you or something that's very short-lived that sort of fades away. It's almost the sense of, I'm ready for this. I'm ready for you. I'm ready to kind of do what it takes for us to fight our way through the difficulties we've faced, or to fight for this love and kind of the renewal of a connection between the two of you. So I'm going to get some initials. It's going to be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got T, Y, C, V, H, S, F, H, A, M, B, N, J, Q, E, A, B, and O. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of those out as well. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.